So can you light this? Can you light this? Thank you. You are the beginner. You can start from the global locations. You are the beginner. Okay, go that side. Start from the
దాన్ని ఒకసారి ప్యూరిఫై చేసుకుంటాం.
yeah, please. Yeah, no. You can start from the bottom view. Yeah. Yeah, right. Go ahead. You can start from the bottom view. You can give it.
I'm sorry.
You want to start here? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then try to get the.
This one.
Can I get some more water? You can do that.
Oh, discussion plan.
That's okay.
No, it's not. అది ఆవిడ బొమ్మలకు పెట్టారు.
You want to do the overview? if anybody wants to take second term.
Full-time job.
For PTA donation box.
Thank you for.
Coming back in a week or so. Yeah,
When is it?
15th November.
Is there an official order where we have to
For a
like
week or
handle
so.
a specific order or no?
No, you can.
Anyone for second term?
Listen,
You can do it in the way so that file will not.
Gotcha, so like back to front,
Yes. You can
yeah.
refer to-
yeah.
I'll take that.
Is it those 15?
15th November.
I'm just filling up.
Oh, you're just one.
Yeah.
Okay. I did, thank you.
Yes, you can do that sign.
Is there other people who'd like to go?
Yeah.
You go for review.
He's so cute.
Yeah, of course. The top ones are
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Start going.
Nobody asked you to stop.
Breathe, remember. Relax. Yeah.
No, because I can't. No, I thought I'm a secret. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Radha 기회자요 자요 보라찬데 아라티 거서가 기회자요 Cha 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 Bye.
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ram se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Murlidhar ki jai. Gaura Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki jai. Vrimmadanga Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Festival of 1,000 Lights ki jai. Janitai Gauda Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Kalana भगवान की राधा महाराज की और प्रेमानंदे।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So we welcome all of you to the Bhakti Center to celebrate with us the last day of Kartik, where we are celebrating it as the festival of 1,000 lights. We will be having Kirtan now, after that we'll have a talk, and then we'll be offering the lamps. We have this much Kirtan and talks because today it is said in the Puranas, like Skanda Purana and Padma Purana, that any devotional activity, any activity towards Krishna done today is equivalent of doing it for the last 4 months. So, what do you think? Is it a good thing that we are doing Kirtan? Yeah! Haribo! Are you guys feeling warm?
Yeah.
Feeling warm?
Yes.
That's the warmth of Krishna. So with that we begin our Kirtan, and then at 7:30 we will have the talk on the glories of Bhishma. Maya? Oh, please.
Is there a harmonium?
Yes. Can you get me on, please? We are also very fortunate to hear Kirtan from Vishnu Maya Devi. Haribo!
works if you chant, as much as it's about listening and the color response is about chanting. So one more time, Hare Krishna.
Let us give a big round of applause to Maya. It was such a soul Thank you. So I'd like to welcome you all once again. If this is your first time attending our festival or being here at the center, then please note that there are 2 exits to this hall. Restrooms are in the back. There's a water filter in the back. And if you have any question, then there is Jayanita Prabhu here on the second exit. Prabhu, can you raise your hand? So if you have any question regarding the Bhakti Center, any programs, anything, you want to do a seva, make a donation or connect with the devotee, then please see Jayanita Prabhu. So now please join me in welcoming Adbhut Krishna Prabhu, introduced to Bhakti by his parents in the year 2000, and has been actively serving the Bhakti Center since 2018. Professionally, he works at Amazon in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning, holds a PhD from Penn State, I believe, and where he also had his Bhakti programs there in the university. And in this present moment, he has been organizing retreats to Gita Nagari, connecting with the youth, and also maintaining the IT infrastructure of the Gita Nagari farm. So let us welcome Adbhut Krishna Prabhu with a big round of applause.
Hare Krishna. Can everyone hear me? Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Bhakti Center. Can everyone at the back hear me? No? No. Sing a little louder. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Better? Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Center on this very auspicious day, very special day of the final day of the Kartik month. And thank you, Karuna Nimai, for that generous introduction. I'm really grateful to, privileged and honored to be here on this day. I've been part of this community for a while, been nurtured, I've learned so much and given a lot of love and care by the devotees of this beautiful place. It's my spiritual home. Some of them are sitting in the audience here, and I seek the blessings of all these devotees so I can speak something of value. When Karuna Nimai Prabhu reached out to me to give a class, I was like unsure. He reached out to me before Kartik month, and I was like, maybe I can try. But then he told me that you should take it as your Kartik inspiration, like something that you devote, something you take up, some kind of some vow in terms of thinking about this class and learning about this particular occasion. So I took that to my heart, and I'm grateful for it, for Prabhu for giving me this opportunity. It took me on a journey of reading through different scriptures. This particular day has many different very high potency things that happen on this day, and I went on different things, and we'll discuss a few things today. But I specifically would like today to discuss about austerities and about a great personality from the Mahabharata text, one of the very prominent spiritual texts. His name is Bhishma Dev. The personality's name is Bhishma Dev. So thank you so much for giving me. I hope it worked well for me. I was able to put myself in a good mood, in a spiritual mood during the month of Kartik, thinking about this learning. I hope it works well for the audience as well. So we'll start with the invocation prayers. So these invocation prayers are meant to invoke the blessings and show our gratitude to all the, primarily the spiritual master and all the great personalities that come in the disciplic succession of spiritual master, leading up to So the knowledge that we get here comes through disciplic succession. So these invocation prayers, the first verse actually is, I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and through the torchlight of knowledge, the spiritual master opened my eyes. If some of you know, you can sing with me, otherwise you can just absorb the vibrations. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamanyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Samitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So again, welcome all. If anyone in the audience while I'm speaking would like to share their realizations, please raise your hands and assist me in making this discussion fruitful. I see many knowledgeable people here. I've been listening to some of your classes online and actually are the source of my knowledge also. So I'm very grateful that you're all here in this. So today's day is extremely special, it's not for many different reasons. There's a whole list. When you look at the Vaishnava calendar, you will see many things happen today. Because I have a perfect Kali Yuga memory, I wrote them down here. I can't possibly remember all of this. So today obviously is the last final day of month of Kartik. So the month of Kartik is very special for all Vaishnava devotees across the world. And now thanks to Srila Prabhupada and his sacrifices to bring the Krishna consciousness to the West, with where we are now able to sit here and discuss some very elevated philosophy about divinity and God consciousness. So my humble obeisances and pranams to Srila Prabhupada and the devotees of Bhakti Center who are dedicatedly serving in this mission of spreading spiritual knowledge. The month of Kartik is very special. During this month, Vaishnavas are usually they introspect. It's time to sort of deep dive into yourself and try to build your connection with the Supreme. And with that intention, they take on many different vratas or some austerities in order to go deeper inside. And today's the final day, and it's a full moon day. Like, I don't know if you saw while coming, there is a beautiful moon that has risen on, I think, on this side, and very nice behind clouds. It looks like a beautiful painting. So you can actually feel the vibe that something special about this month and about this day especially. So there are a couple of things that are important for today. Today is also Tulsi Saligram Vivaha, where Tulsi, the plant, Tulsi Devi, she is actually one of the topmost devotees of Lord Krishna, and the wedding with Shaligram Shila. Shaligram is the stone incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and devotees celebrate this union on this day. Today also Nimbarka Acharya's appearance day, one of the great saints in the traditional Bhakti Yoga. There's also Krishna Sardiya Rasa Yatra, marks the autumnal rasa dance between Lord Krishna and the gopis, where the highest manifestation of love for Godhead is experienced and shared between Lord and his devotees in the form of gopis, love for gopis and Krishna. It's also the end of Chaturmasa period. Chaturmasa is also a very holy period that starts 4 months. So Kartik is the last month of Chaturmas. Chaturmas across Vedic culture is considered also another year where you try to accelerate or amplify your devotional practices. And this being the last day of the last month of Chaturmas is also very special. And you can feel that in this month of Kartik, there are so many different festivals. There is also Diwali, which we know is everybody knows Diwali here. But there's Govardhan Puja also, and many others that I can't remember right now. But there's also another significance for the last 5 days of Kartik. The last 5 days of Kartik are called Bhishma Panchaka. They are in honor of a very great personality called Bhishma Deva. And today's discussion, I will try to speak a little bit about this amazing personality called Bhishma. And so I think that would be the topic, mainly the topic. And the reason I chose is because there are some topics that require the speaker to do a lot of work, or to be able to be very expert in making those topics relevant to the audience, and some which are, the topics themselves are so interesting, fascinating, that the speaker doesn't have to do a lot of work. So I chose the latter one, and Bhishma, the life and teachings and the example of Bhishma is so fascinating that if you read through it, and that's what I was talking about, this journey that I took during the month of Kartik, learning about Bhishma Dev and developing so much appreciation for Bhishma Dev. So I think it's recommended by Bhishma because he symbolizes obviously being noble and virtuous, but the main thing is that he took certain vows and he stuck to them the rest of his life. So in many Puranas, Padma Purana and other Puranas, it is said that during these last 5 days of Kartik, we should remember Bhishma and glorify him. So today I'll attempt to do that, and obviously everyone else is welcome to participate if they want to share their realizations or their knowledge or readings. So let's start with the basic question. As when I was growing up, I always had this question. Why do we have to perform austerities? Because it seems very unnatural, like that someone gets pleased by putting ourselves into an inconvenient position, right? Basically, that has how I tried to process as a kid, and now I'm a father also. So I see that my son, I want my son to be always happy. He needs to have all the best things in life. I need to, like I saw some of the parents today trying to feed their sons, make sure they are well fed, they get the best things in time. Now, if we say the Lord is Supreme Father, He's the most loving person, would he like us to go through all these difficulties in life, and what type of pleasure would, it seems almost to the edge of being a little sadistic, right? So I mean, that has bewildered me for a long time, but and then throughout my journey I've been thinking a lot, and as I've learned many different angles of looking at it, I've tried to come to the level of appreciating what role austerity plays in our lives. So I'll speak on some of that for now. Then also eager to hear any thoughts that people have or devotees have. My understanding is that with austerities, in order to understand austerities requires some basic understanding of the spiritual, almost like spiritual 101, like spirituality 101, like why do we do austerities? And to some extent, it's all the answers are there in the scriptures, but the scriptures are there, but someone has to make it relatable or palatable for you. So the basic premise of spiritual austerity is obviously you have to understand spiritual life, but the basic premise of any spiritual life is acknowledging or at least understanding the true nature of the self. And the true nature of the self here means, who are we really? And that's the fundamental question that prods or propels spiritualists on their path to understanding who they are. So I guess we are all here gathered here because at some point we felt the need to understand the true nature of the self. Because we have understood that putting faith in just what we see or experience in this world is not enough. It's not giving us the right thing. All the thing that there's some gap there, right? So at some point we have to understand. In the Shastras, it is called as Sambandha Gyan, meaning Sambandha means relations. So firstly, who am I, and what is my real nature or real connection with the rest of the world? And I'm trying to sort of simplify a lot of things here. There's very deep philosophy embedded in all of these very deep subject matters and requires a lot more time and reading, or that all this knowledge is already there in the books. So I'm trying to shorten it a bit here. So that is one aspect, to understand who are we and who is God. And in short, as we know, it's mentioned in Shastras that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. Spirit soul Atma. The spirit soul is part and parcel of the supreme whole, that is Krishna or divinity. And to some extent we are told to believe, or something tells us to believe, that we are the material body. And that something is called as false ego or ahankara. So there is something that is keeping us from understanding our true potential as Atman or spirit soul that has a very eternal connection with the absolute or the supreme soul. And for transcendentalists or people who are seeking spiritual life, that is their ultimate goal, to re-establish that connection with the supreme divinity, whatever you might call it. Krishna is the appropriate name for that person or personality, because Krishna means all attractive. So in that journey, they seek to understand. And if you've seen even if you read about movies or any yoga community or any place you go, they will tell you that in the olden times, whenever someone was on a spiritual journey, they used to just leave their home and walk towards the forest and go into the mountains and start meditating on it. So why is that? Like, why is sacrifice or giving up considered important? The connection there is that as we live our lives, as we adorn these bodies, like we are not the body, we are adorning the body. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that the body is like clothes and we change these clothes. But along with these bodies come senses, like eyes, nose, ears, hands, mouth, genitals, all that. So as we operate in this world, usually the senses are the controllers of our bodies. They drag us in different directions. If you question yourself every time why you're doing something, ultimately it comes down to the fact that you're trying to satisfy some senses. So for a transcendentalist, it is important that they mute or turn down the what was the word? The push or the impetus of these senses. So it seems there is some kind of diametrically opposite conflicting energies here. To understand your real connection with the Lord, you have to control these senses, right? So the whole point of this is why we are doing austerities. There is different reasons why people do austerities. Many in India, I grew up in India, many people do these vratas or austerities because it's a culture, it's a family tradition. That's how, if you do it, you will be considered, not worthy of, whatever. So it might be due to social pressures. It might be due to that everyone's around me is doing, so you want to fit in, right? For example, in India, that might be the case. Maybe not here. But in Bhagavad Gita, it is described that there are austerities can be performed in modes also. There is mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So we have many examples of people who did austerities in mode of ignorance. For example, Hiranyakashipu, he did a lot of tapasya for many, many years, but his ultimate goal was demoniac goal. There is austerities in the mode of passion, where you want to achieve something in this life to be successful or get some fruitful activity. Like, we see a lot of hardworking people around us, but not every hardworking person is successful, because hard work is not only the reason to be successful. There has to be some divine, some higher powers that can help you get the goals you need. And by doing certain austerities, you can please these higher powers, we can call demigods or whatever, to give you the right result you need, that you're looking for. And then there is austerities in the mode of goodness, where Krishna says they're done with faith, with a scriptural adherence, what there is, in this, the way you're prescribed in the scriptures, and it is purifying for the heart. But as devotees, we look it differently. We look at it as a way to situate ourselves in a better position to serve and think and meditate on the Supreme Lord, Krishna. And also, even beyond religion or spirituality, there are austerities that are done even in other religions, like the Ramzan or other types. So the main goal is the same, like we have to establish the connection with the Supreme. So so I think the point here is that, in Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya prathak chetasam taya parata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhona vidiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. It's clearly mentioned there. So we see here that to attain the Supreme requires unwavering or undeviated attention and putting your heart and soul into that. And these months of Kartik, all these months are actually important, where we all come together and do it. When there is everyone doing spiritual activity, you can feel that in the air, in the vibe. When you enter the Bhakti Center, you feel something special about this place, because there's so much spiritual activity happened in this place. People who are in tune with that can feel something special about this place. So that's on the topic of austerities. So these 5 days are, as I mentioned, are called Bhishma Panchaka. And let's discuss a little bit about Bhishma Dev and this great personality called Bhishma Dev. So 5,000 years ago, there was an epic battle that was fought. And this battle has no other comparison in the modern world. Because it was fought amongst, it was a world war in the sense, because it was between two parties, and many different kings that were ruling many different regions had participated. There was a lot of loss of life, and battles aren't easy, right? Usually, but this battle was special because it was fought for a right cause, and in the end, obviously the victorious party was the one on the righteous side. So there were two parties. One was called Kauravas and Pandavas. On the Pandavas were on the righteous side. There was a lot of injustice done to them, although they were the true heir to the kingdom of the Kuru dynasty. Kuru dynasty was practically ruling the entire world at that time. They were not given the right, what was right for them to give. So there's a lot of sequence of events that happen, but in the end, this battle took place, and there were millions or many thousands or millions of lives that were lost. A lot of things happened, but in the end, imagine that after the war ends, the dust settles down. The winner has been declared, but on the battlefield, you can imagine a lot of bodies lying around. But there is one very dramatic scene there. On the battlefield, there is a man, a very great personality, who is sleeping on a bed of arrows, who is lying on a bed of arrows, with arrows pierced through his body, coming from the back, and then he's lying there. And he's alive and he's breathing. This personality is Bhishma Dev. And I started from this because it's very dramatic, but I will talk a little bit, rewind a bit, and talk about what happened and to the point that we came to this point, right? So who's Bhishma Dev? Bhishma Dev is one of the grandsires of the Kuru dynasty. Actually, the Kuru dynasty, because in this dynasty there were two sides, right? They were actually cousins, brothers. Their grandsires, you can think of him as a grand uncle, was Bhishma Dev. And the word Bhishma his name was not actually Bhishma, his name was Devavrata. Bhishma is actually more of a qualitative name. Bhishma, to some degree, means very intense, intense. And his whole life, if you look at his whole life, it was led with a lot of intensity in the way he did. He conducted himself. So in Hindi you have this word Bhishan, right? Bhishan, so it comes from Bhishma. Bhishma, very intense. Everything about him was very intense. He was the son of Mother Ganges. So Ganges is the river that flows in India. It actually originates from the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, everything is a person. Everything is a personality. There's a living person can relate to. So he was the son of Mother Ganges and another great king, Raja Rishi called Shantanu. So Shantanu, Maharaj Shantanu was a king, was ruling the whole world. He was very righteous, noble, had all the great qualities. So he was the son of Ganga, but something happened, over the course of years. I'll not go through all the details. But there was at some point where Shantanu wanted to marry another lady. She was a fisherman's daughter, and that lady said that as any woman would do, you have to, if you want my hand, you have to ask my father. So Maharaj Shantanu went to the fisherman to ask for his daughter's hand. So this fisherman actually was very clever. So he told the king that if you want to marry my daughter, it is fine, but you already have a son, and I know that usually the eldest son takes over the throne. So if you want my daughter's hand, you should promise me that any progeny from son born out of Satyavati was her name, the daughter's name, would become the king. So he said, I can't do that. The king said, I can't do that. But then when Bhishma came to know, he said, no, I'm okay to give up the throne. If you want to marry, I'm okay to sacrifice the throne, and that was okay. But that didn't stop there. The fisherman said, But what if Bhishma has his sons? What if they do? So Bhishma said, I'm going to forever be celibate. I will not be marrying my whole life. So this is something very big because as Kshatriyas, they used to have hundreds of wives at that time, because they could manage and they had the power and everything. And Bhishma was very capable because he was actually trained. He was not just an ordinary person. He was very powerful. He was mighty. He had all the virtuous qualities of becoming a king. And that's what matters when you have a virtuous king who is powerful, who can maintain control, who can give stability, who can, not just stability, but who has a very spiritual connection to support the masses, then all the people are generally happy, which is very contrary to the leaders we see in the society today. So, Bhishma was actually a very, very appropriate person to continue the dynasty and rule. And people under him would be extremely happy. They would also make spiritual life as progress. By the way, I forgot to mention that Bhishma is one of the 12 Mahajanas that are described in the Vedic scriptures, or specifically in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Mahajana is a very special title that certain people get, or certain devotees of Krishna get, because there's also a verse which is very often quoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know the full verse, but it starts with Mahajanuyana Gatha Sapantham, which means that if you want to achieve for the path of perfection, there are a lot of confusions. You might be very confused what to do, because if you read the scriptures, you might get bewildered what to do. Especially the Vedas are like a forest, right? They tell about many different things. But in this short span of life that we have, how can we reach our goal of perfection? And for a spiritualist, a perfection means understanding who we are and coming out of the cycle of birth and death. Because in the Vedic philosophy, we know that everything is circular, like cyclic. When we experience that, it's not the end of our existence. As it is an end of one existence, it's the beginning of a new journey. And it is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Abrahma bhuvana loka punar avartino arjuna madhyam lokam abhyadhaya brahma lokam param. So it is said that even we live in a certain level of existence, but there are higher realms of existence, higher planetary systems where you can enjoy life much more than this. So there is bhubhuva swaha janaha tapaha satyam. Satyam is where Brahma lives, and Brahma obviously is the head of that planetary system. So consider the topmost planetary system. So in our system, maybe who's probably the most lavish person who lives is, say, Jeff Bezos or something, Elon Musk, or who has the power and the authority to do things. Multiply that million times, Brahma, sitting in the topmost level of existence in this material world. From that level until the lowest ant, an ant that's crawling here somewhere, or maybe think of a rat on New York subway. There is something that is common between all of this, that we have. Everything is temporary for them. They are under the influence of the inconceivable potency of Krishna in the form of time, because time takes away everything. And even for Brahma, they might have very, very long life, but at the end, again they have to change. So the point here is that, the Vedas talk about a lot of fruitive things where to make our existing life better or promise us next lives to be, better. So they can be very confusing in the sense that what is the real goal of life? So it's mentioned that the best way to make progress on the path of perfection is to follow the footsteps of Mahajanas. And there are 12 Mahajanas mentioned. Bhishma is actually mentioned as one of the Mahajanas. So I just wanted to share the importance of this personality that we're discussing today. So coming back to the story, so Bhishma said, I'm going to be celibate for the rest of my life, which is very, very unusual or impossible at that time for a Kshatriya or a warrior class to take on that vow. Even Lord Ram was because he took on one wife was it is considered as an anomaly, right? So this is also it's a very unusual circumstance. So that was during the early times, and then we all know that he did a lot of different things. He at some point when through Satyavati, when the generation could not continue because of they had some issues, they could not produce progeny or they died early. The entire dynasty, the Kuru dynasty, was left without a heir. So Bhishma played a very instrumental role to make sure that he actually went and kidnapped. Well, there's a lot of interesting stuff there, and he brought. But in the end, he was actually instrumental in making sure. So in the sense that all the warriors, the main princess and prince in the Battle of Kurukshetra, actually owe their existence in some way or other to Bhishma. Because if it wasn't for Bhishma, they would not be there. So you can imagine that all these warriors have very great respect for Bhishma. So you can think of like an alpha male in a clan, right? Like where everyone respects and honors Bhishma. But as I mentioned, he's lying there on a bed of arrows, waiting for his moment to pass. So what happened in between, right? So during the battle, there was one side that was unjust, and they wanted to usurp the power completely, dividing the righteous people of their power. In that, they tried to play a lot of mean games of humiliating or even trying to destroy and kill the other party. So the battle was fought, and Bhishma, surprisingly, was on the side of the Kauravas, which were the losers in the battle. And there is a lot of history behind it. So Bhishma was on the losing side, but he's also Mahajan. He's a very pure devotee, because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas then. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was on the side of the Pandavas, the winning party. And Krishna is obviously the most respected, and after that is Bhishma. Bhishma is actually is a pure devotee of the Lord, and in his heart he's always longed, and he prayed to serve Krishna. So although he knew that what was happening was unjust, he decided to be on the side of the Kauravas, and there are two reasons for it. The first being that he wanted to show to the world that, and this is from the purports by Prabhupada, that he wanted to show to the world is no matter, finally it was a political game, right? If you have, he had to be, because he was, at that time it was, when war happened, the Kauravas were ruling the empire. And as a loyal citizen, you have to be on the side of Kauravas. But internally, there was another reason. He always longed for to be defeated in the battle by Krishna. That's one of the Supreme Lord Krishna. That's how his interaction was with Krishna. And all of this is all Krishna's arrangement, because nothing happens without the will of the Supreme. So it was the will of Krishna that Bhishma fight on the opposite side of the battle. And through this, he wanted to show that no matter how powerful you are, no matter how virtuous you are, you might have all the good qualities in the world, you might have all the power. Bhishma was actually trained by Parshuram in the art of warfare. Parshuram is the incarnation of God, and there was a battle between Parshuram and Bhishma, and Parshuram could not defeat Bhishma. So you can imagine how powerful he was. And he was actually could not be defeated. Even the Pandavas knew that he could not be defeated. So Krishna wanted to show to the world that no matter how powerful you are, if you are on the wrong side, or if you are against the supreme will of the Lord, then ultimately you will be defeated. But Bhishma knew that he was just playing a role of a puppet in all of this in the plan of Krishna, he was playing the role of a puppet. So he agreed humbly to play that role. He had to go through so much criticism, targeted attacks, and just to see fight with the opposing party when you know that they are right is itself such a big burden in your heart. But he did that because he knew that is what Krishna wanted. And as a pure devotee, always knows the heart of Krishna. And being a Mahajana, he knew that. So let's go back to the end of the war. Right, the war had ended. Yudhishthir Maharaj had, and the 5 Pandavas, including the Yudhishthir Maharaj, had won the battle. Yudhishthir Maharaj being the eldest brother among the 5 Pandavas, they were now going to be coronated as the future kings of the dynasty. Yudhishthir Maharaj was actually the emperor going to be the emperor. So after the battle ended, the focus shifted on to Hastinapur, which is the capital city, the modern day Delhi, where the coronation ceremony was supposed to happen. It was a very grand event. Obviously, he's a king of the world, right? So imagine Napoleon or who's Genghis Khan or whatever, like multiplied that by 100 times. All the world kings of the world were there. As those who survived or won the war. Most of the or all of the kings or princes who fought on the other side were annihilated. So all the virtuous ones, the kings were there, and it was perfect time where the world was looking up to Yudhishthir Maharaj to rule in a righteous way. Krishna was himself very confident and very happy that Yudhishthir was going to be the king. Now in all of this, Yudhishthir being such a soft-hearted person, although he was a warrior, and to be a warrior you cannot be soft-hearted, when you see some violence, to be able to stand up to it and to use violence as a mean to establish or protect the right values in the system, or to protect the weak people, it takes a lot of heart and courage. But in this situation, Yudhishthir, although he was the king, right, this was his moment of glory. This was his moment to say that, yes, I have done it. We have gone through so much hardships. We have gone through so much humiliation. And if you read Mahabharata is such a beautiful classic. Even if you ignore the spiritual aspect or potency of Mahabharata, if you read it, every personality or everything in there is amazing. And the value system that it has given to the world can be used even today to make our lives better by leaders of the society, for example. So in this situation, Yudhishthir Maharaj was actually very miserable because he actually considered himself as the cause of the war. Although he was not, and Krishna was on his side. So when the Supreme Lord, the whole divinity is on your side, then there is actually really no need. But he blamed himself for all the war. And he was in a very dire situation when he was actually coronated as a king. I recently finished a project in my company, and I feel like I earned it, and I feel like I should enjoy the moment, right? But Yudhishthir Maharaj, he had won a battle, and now he's going to rule the world. But he's blaming himself because these big personalities are devoid of false ego. Where instead of blaming someone else for, sometimes we do something and we find blame circumstances or whatever. But in this case, it is very clear that he was not the cause of the war, but he was at that point feeling that pain. And Krishna actually guided him to take advice from Bhishma Deva. Because Krishna could have given the advice himself to Bhishma, but he said, just go to Bhishma and get advice. So the entire cavalry, all the princes in their full glory, nice attires, the emperors of the world had a big procession towards Kurukshetra, where it was an open battlefield, and only person who was there was Bhishma lying on the bed of arrows. A very sobering sight, or also dramatic sight to see, right? Someone injured like that. So Bhishma had a blessing that even though he had a blessing that he can leave the body at his own will. That was given by his father. And in those times, people could give such benedictions, but even though Bhishma physically was in so much pain, like imagine having hundreds of arrows in your body, his heart and his mind was situated in thinking about and meditating on Krishna. Because as a pure devotee, that's what we do. I sometimes try to think about the last days of Srila Prabhupada's mission on this earth. Some of us have seen those videos where Prabhupada was lying in a bed in Vrindavan, and his body was completely weak. There was no flesh or bones, and there's only bones remaining. And you can't, most people can't even do anything. But Prabhupada was translating from Sanskrit to English Srimad Bhagavatam, and people and his disciples were taking notes or transcribing them. So as a pure devotee, they are on a different level because they have understood that they are able to. I mean, it's wrong to sort of describe how they feel, but in the end, I see some parallels between Bhishma being on the bed of arrows, having so much physical pain, but all his senses, spiritual senses, are so sharp at that point, because when Dhritarashtra and all the princes came and they asked some certain questions, he was able to guide them actually, giving guidance. And when you are in such a deep state of physical pain, it's not possible for an ordinary person to do that. During that time, in the end, there was this. We can probably read some of the translations from Srimad Bhagavatam if we have time. Maybe we can read now. I'll quickly read through it. These are from the direct translations by His Divine Grace Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9. After hearing Bhishma Dev speak in that appealing tone, the Pandavas became silent, their hearts filled with sorrow and eyes brimming with tears. All the great sages headed by Narada, Vyasa, Parvata, Devala, Asita, Bharadvaj, Parshuram, and others assembled to see the great devotee at his final moment. Seeing them and also Lord Krishna before him, Bhishma offered obeisances with his head, because he was not in a way positioned to offer obeisances, and some of these are his gurus who are there, and you are supposed to welcome them, but he was on the bed, but he, just by his glance and by his head, he was able to show his reverence. Recognizing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead who had descended for the welfare of the world, Bhishma, although lying on a bed of arrows, rejoiced to see him. Knowing well the transcendental position of the Lord, Bhishma began instructing Yudhishthira on dharma, while feeling deep satisfaction at Krishna's personal presence. What a sight, when you are passing away, when Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually present in front of your eyes. That must be something, right? Although he was not present, even when he was not present, Bhishma was always meditating on Krishna in the form of a charioteer, where on his one hand he's holding the reins of the horses, and the other hand he's holding a whip. And that was he had captured that scene when he saw Krishna there, and that scene had remained in his memory forever, even when nobody was around him. But at this time, passing away, Krishna was actually present in front of him, and he was very overwhelmed. All the Pandavas were overwhelmed seeing their granduncle in that state, and their eyes were filled with tears. So I'll fast forward a bit. Bhishma advised Yudhishthira to follow dharma according to time, place, and circumstance, knowing that even saintly persons sometimes act differently according to the Lord's desire. Through his own example, he showed that. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is in the Shikshashtakam verses, it is said that the last verse is I forget the last verse, but in that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, dear Lord, you can embrace me, you can show me love, you can trample me with your feet, you can do whatever you want, but I will always remain your devotee. And in this case, that's what Bhishma is showing through his example, that he went through so much humiliation, and but in the end, Krishna took care of him. Not in the material body, because we see him in a very difficult predicament, But for a devotee, the material body is just a passing phase, right? So it is anyways temporary in a way. But the real perfection is when Krishna delivers you from the cycle of birth and death and takes you into his abode, right? And that's what Krishna did for Bhishma Dev. So the last few lines here. Now again, Bhishma fixed his mind fully on the transcendental form until his breathing ceased. Thus Bhishma, lying on a bed of arrows, merged his consciousness into the super soul and attained the same spiritual status as the Lord. All the sages present glorified Sri Krishna for his wonderful acts. Yudhishthira and his brothers, overwhelmed with devotion, performed the funeral rites for Bhishma. By hearing the teachings and witnessing the Lord's presence, Yudhishthira's heart became pacified and he attained perfect understanding of dharma and devotion. Thus ended the passing of Bhishma Dev, the great devotee and a warrior who left this world with his mind absorbed entirely in Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's a great example, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever state of mind you have at the time of death, your next life will depend on that. So if you at the time of the death, if your attention is being attracted by certain topics, then your next life will become, it's hard to explain, but it's based on that. So if you're thinking of Krishna or remembering Krishna or his devotees or the glories of the Lord at this very juncture, then it is Krishna gives the assurance that you will come out of the cycle of birth and death and come back to Godhead. So Bhishma showed that through his example. That's why he's a Mahajan. Through everything and acts he do, they're setting the example of a pure devotee for generations to follow. So on this day of Kartik, the last day of Kartik, as we are trying to culminate or finish our Vrantas, austerities, or whatever you have planned for, it's appropriate to think about these great personalities. And I know many of you have probably taken vows and tried your best. In this world, it is very hard. I also should mention that Mahajanas, when you follow the path of Mahajanas, does not mean we can imitate them. There is no way we can imitate Bhishma Deva. But by remembering and glorifying them, it gives us some power, spiritual power to go in the right direction. And the fact that we're not in the wrong direction by following their path is actually very reassuring. So I think as we wrap up this very auspicious month of Kartik, we can try to remember and meditate on the life and teachings of Bhishma Dev. And I pray that the upcoming months, these memories or this month of Kartik, all the things that you gathered can continue to nourish you and for the rest of the year. So I think that's all basically I had. I'll stop here to see if you have any questions or anyone wants to share any realizations or something, please. Yes, please.
You mentioned earlier that Bhishma and Parashuram fought, but Parashuram is another avatar of Vishnu, and at the same time at Chiranjeev, you'll be at the end when Kalki comes.
Yes.
Do you share a repeat?
Okay, so I'll repeat my question.
Sure.
So you mentioned earlier that Bhishma fought Parashuram, who was an avatar of Vishnu, and at the same time at Chiranjeev, he'll be at the end when the final avatar Kalki arrives. But how is it possible that multiple avatars of Vishnu could coexist?
So, I think I'll try to attempt to answer it. It's a very deep question. I'll invite others to also share their coexistence is think of divinity sometimes because divinity itself is a very hard, inconceivable topic, and as we are situated in this world and its body, our life and how we see the world based on our experiences, it is impossible to see one person into different places. But there are yogic people who can do that. And Krishna and the Supreme Lord is beyond all this anyways. So he can actually exist in multiple different forms, in multiple different times, in multiple different places. For us, it's hard to conceive that. Simple fact that one of the energies of Krishna is called the Kala Swarupa, the potency of time. We see that in our lives that this is such a strong potency that every day, a couple of months, I see myself in the mirror, I change, right? I go back to India after 5 years, everything has changed. So time is we take it for granted, but it is said in the spiritual world, the time that controls people in the material world does not exist there. So we can't even imagine what a time in this world would feel like. A simple example of that. So to conceive what divinity is and how divinity manifests itself in this world is a very hard topic to say. So sometimes we have to accept we have to accept the insufficiency of ourselves to understand. And at some point we have to put faith that this is how it works. And that's how I understand things. There are many things in the scriptures which are unrelatable when you compare with the modern world or how we experience world here. But having faith in seeing the lives and teachings of people and the fact that there is only a limited experience we can achieve in this world, and to experience what is transcendental requires another set of eyes and another mindset, and that's how I would write that myself. But if anyone wants to add to it or share more deeper realizations, I would welcome. Okay, I think we have to, and now I appreciate your patience. Thank you so much, and Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let us thank Krishna for a big round of applause. So before we transition to Damodarashtakam, I'd like to share brief announcements. So 8:30 the curtains will open and then we'll begin the prayer. You should get a prayer sheet in your hand. If you don't get it, then just raise your hand, and we have Meera here, we have Parnika there, and they will assist you and they'll give you the sheet. So there will be a queue made if you're here for the first time. There will be a queue made, just be a part of the queue. The queue will move forward. One by one will come forward and offer a lamp. Volunteers will be here to guide you. You get water first to purify your hands. So that water you can just beat down, and then you'll get a lamp. While you come forward, just be careful. So we are not going to just go inside the 1,000 lamps. We are going to see the 1,000 lamps from a distance. Prasadam will be served in the back around 8:45. At 9:15, we'll be giving away these structures. So if you're interested in taking one of these holy, sacred, offered structures home, please see Krishna there, who is in the back. He's raising his hands, saying Hari Bol there. We also request your help with cleanup after the program. So if you can assist, please see me after the program. And we'd like to extend our gratitude to Darsh for sponsoring these 1,000 lights for tonight. And as we prepare to sing Damodarashtakam, I just received the news that His Grace Adi Deva Prabhu, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and the father of our beloved community members, Ananta and Achyut Gopi, has left his body today. So let us stand one Hare Krishna Mahamantra for him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So while we make this final prayer of this month to Shri Radha Muligarji on our behalf, on the behalf of our loved ones, please include him as well in your prayer as we sing Damodarashtakam today. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
लसत्कुण्डलं गोधूमे
The tray.
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोधूमे Namo Radhikaya Krishna One last time. The Supreme Lord, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose blistering earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokul, stole the butter that the gopis left hanging from the rafters of their storehouse, who then quickly jumped up and ran to retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he's crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I offer again my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Bal Gopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda. And your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of yours, lotus face, be ever be manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me. Deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows, and please become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodar, just as the 2 sons of Kuber, Manigriv and Nalakuber, were delivered from the curse of Narad, and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with the rope of a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of preparation. O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisance to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki Radha Ashtakam ki Muni ki Festival of Thousand Lights ki Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Shri Shri Radha Murlidhar Gaurachandra Bhagwan ki Shri Shri Radha Murlidhar Gaurachandra